A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Promise Mkwananzi. I'll be the spokesperson of the CCC as we go forward. We've called this press conference just to give you an update on the situation unfolding in the country and our attitude towards the process thus far. We wish to start by thanking the citizens of Zimbabwe who have shown unrelenting resilience and determination to exercise their inalienable democratic right to vote. We think that this is paramount, this is important, because the right to vote did not come for free. There was a protracted struggle to bring about the realization of the right to vote. And we cannot surrender that right today. So we continue to urge our citizens to remain vigilant in exercising that right and safeguarding and protecting their expression through the ballot. The next coming days are going to be crucial in determining the future of this country. President Nelson Chamisa is well and fine, ready and geared to form a government for everyone, to form a government, an all-inclusive government, which will benefit all citizens in the country. As a movement, we are currently seized with monitoring the electoral process, particularly the V11s and V23s. We are watching ZEC, and we hope that ZEC is going to do the right thing. We know that there are areas where they are refusing to post the V11s and the V23s. And in some instances, it is alleged that presiding officers are actually instructed to make clandestine phone calls before publishing the V11s. We ask our observers, local and international, and our political party observers to record the results and ensure that the results that were counted at the polling station are the same results that will be posted. We are still concerned with the process. We feel that the electoral process is fundamentally flawed and is unable to produce a free and fair electoral outcome. Nonetheless, we knew this beforehand, and we've prepared ourselves to win an unfree and unfair election. Now, how do we do this? We've done that by registering our people overwhelmingly and ensuring that as much as possible and using all means permissible in a democratic society, we defend and protect our vote. So far, the information we have is that we are leading on the presidential election comfortably, and we are doing well on the parliamentary elections. We expect this trend to continue because the people of Zimbabwe have decided that they want change. And the expression of that desire for change is going to come through the victory of the Citizens Coalition for Change and President Nelson Chamisa. As I said earlier on, we're still concerned about the process, and I'm going to highlight some of the key irregularities, which in our view are sufficient to nullify and invalidate this election by a competent court of law. ZEC had an obligation to give us the correct voters roll upon the successful nomination of our candidates, it was not to be. The ballot papers, we still did not know who printed them, where they were printed, and how many were printed. ZEC had announced that they printed 7.1 million ballot papers for the presidential election and 6.6 million for the parliamentary and local government election. Now the question that begs answers is, how did we have the level of shortage that we witnessed and the delays in the delivery of ballot papers, in particular in areas that are perceived to be the strongholds of the Citizens' Coalition for Change? This is a clear indication of the unwillingness of ZANU-PF and ZEC to be transparent and to provide a level playing field for all political actors in Zimbabwe. Still on the ballots, there were pathetic photos of our candidates, in particular our presidential candidate, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We believe that it was deliberate to put a picture which was not clear in the desperate attempt to cloud the will of the people. We do not accept this, and we hope that we'll have an improvement in the future. In 2018, the AU Observer Mission made a recommendation that ZEC must be more transparent and more consultative in the coming elections. I'm afraid to say that they have not passed that test, and subsequently they have compromised their credibility as an impartial, professional, and credible body to conduct free and fair elections. Free and fair elections are the backbone of legitimacy. If Mr. Mnangagwa wants to claim any veil of legitimacy, he must allow Zimbabwe to have a free and fair election, which in turn will allow our people to freely express their will. In conclusion, we heard that ZEC was saying they delayed the printing of ballot papers because of court cases that were brought about, not just by the CCC, but by other parties. We want to put on record that we should not have gone to court in the first place if ZEC had been doing things properly. The fact that people were going to court over commonsensical processes is in itself a great cause for concern. We would not have gone to court if ZEC had done things properly. But the paradox is that if we had not gone to court, it would have been worse. So ZEC must stop making flimsy excuses. They had 5 years to prepare for this election. We gave them a benefit of doubt. Unfortunately, they failed the test. We are also seeing a concern on some of the figures we are receiving on the ground. For example, some of the delimitation anomalies are the fact that we are supposed to have at least between 22,000 and 33,000 per constituent. I'm told that in Mbare, more than 43,000 voted. It means, therefore, that between February and the closure of the registration process, a curious 12,000 additional voters registered. It's a red flag. It's also prevalent in Churu and in other areas. I think I've come to the end of our update. I will invite members of the press to ask questions. My sister Ellen will assist me with the questions, with picking, and I'll be answering the questions.
I think it's important that we talk about the arrest of our colleagues in the civic sector, the arrest of members of ZEC, and okay. As the CCC, we want to reiterate the fact that we are a free country, and our constitution and our laws in general, allow for free space and also allow for accountability. And what our colleagues in the civic sector, specifically ZEC and ERC, we're trying to ensure that we have a transparent election and also enhance the accountability of this election. This is the mandate. This is their mandate as the election watchdogs. And therefore, as the CCC, in addition to what my colleague said, we want to strongly condemn their arrests. And we want to ensure that they'll be released soon and they'll be given the opportunity to continue in executing their mandate. So that's what I wanted to add on to. So maybe we can take one or two questions which we will respond to. Thank you. If you could just...
For the questions, we are unable to give you the figures because of the limitations of the law. We'll wait for the official announcement by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. But we are also collating and tabulating the elections, so we know what we're talking about. Advocate Mahere has not been dismissed, still an integral part of the movement. She has been redeployed elsewhere, and the president will state those things. Currently, as you all know, Advocate Mahere is seized with campaigning in one of the problematic constituencies here in Harare. I'm told actually that is it Hilly polling station in your constituency, there were problems around the display of the V left. So you can imagine the task at hand. I think I've answered those two. I will defer the third question to my colleague.
Thank you. In response to the question regarding the issue of the ballot paper, you go to Section 52A of our Electoral Act. It's very clear with respect to the duty of a ZEC to inform stakeholders, and also there is the overriding duty to be transparent and to be accountable. When talking about transparency, we expected ZEC to give stakeholders the opportunity to, in fact, not stakeholders, but the nominated candidates, the opportunity to inspect the ballot paper. This has been the trend in the previous elections. You go back to even the by-elections in March 2022. Our candidates had the opportunity to inspect the vote, to inspect the ballot paper. And just like in 2018, if you could recall the sample ballot paper that was in circulation, that was part of the inspection. But because ZEC abrogated its duty of being, its responsibility of being transparent, this is why we're in a mess yesterday. You'd go, for example, in in wards, in Bulawayo, for example, Ward 1 and Ward 22, we had cases where there was a mix-up, you know, in those areas where some of our candidates, Triple C candidates, were not on the ballot paper. And also you go to one ward in Zimba, you would realize that, you know, there's the name of the Triple C candidate, but the face is a ZANU-PF person. So those are issues that could have been resolved when ZEC would have opened up to stakeholders to inspect the ballot. So in short, we never consulted, and there was no opportunity to inspect. And moreover, the issue of the design of the ballot paper for the president. We noted that ZEC breached the law. It's clear in the law that the ballot paper should be in a single column and should be in alphabetical order. But because we're not consulted in the design and ZEC chose not to follow the law, you realize that the ballot paper had 2 columns. And the 2 columns were meant to profile Mr. Mnangagwa so that he becomes number 1 on the ballot paper, which clearly, you know, we see some connivance between ZEC and the incumbent. So these are the concerns that we've raised with regards to the ballot paper. Thank you.
Last round of questions. Work with every stakeholder. It could be ZANU, it could be Triple C, whoever they want to work with. So I think the statement by the government is inaccurate and really just, you know, trying to justify an unjustifiable arrest. They should not even be talking about that, because those people are not supposed to be arrested in the first place. And the problem is that the arrests, they actually stain the credibility of the election. And you wonder what the logic is there. Then in terms of the election results, I think what we can say for now is that we are monitoring the situation. We have learned a lot from the past, and we will be responding accordingly at the appropriate time. But what we want to assure the people of Zimbabwe is that we are not going to let ZANU-PF get away with theft again. I think
Yes, the only engagement that we had with the police with respect to FAS was when they violated citizens and actually beat our people. Like, for example, we had a case in Mavuku during the voters' roll inspection. The thing is, we all know who FAS is. And even when we report to the police, even when we talk to ZEC to say, these people, they are violating voters, no action has been taken. So clearly, as much as we can report out there, but nothing has been done. So this is why we are saying, as the citizens, we continue encouraging everyone out there not to be intimidated by FAS, because we clearly know that it's working with ZANU-PF. And we are aware of the shenanigans that happened during voting, where they intimidated voters. We are aware. This is why we have concerns in some areas, like, for example, in Mutasa South, Mutasa Central that he's talking about. We received cases of intimidation by FAS. But then that didn't stop the citizens. Some were resilient, some thought, no, you know what, this is time, the opportunity to bring about change. So they can do anything, but they will not change the hearts of citizens. But anyway, the bottom line is that as a party, we are monitoring their activities. We will ensure by all means democratic and peaceful means that our people are protected out there.